All right, let's talk about something I'm sure a lot of you know all too well. That feeling you get when you're staring down a huge professional certification exam. It's more than just a test, right? It's a huge step for your career. But man, can it be stressful. So in this explainer, we're going to crack the code on how to pass and turn all that anxiety into pure confidence. So let's just get right into it. The biggest thing that trips people up, even really smart people who know their stuff, isn't actually the content. It's that pressure, right? The clock ticking down, the fear of failing. That's the real problem. We're talking about exam anxiety. Okay, get this. This number is pretty staggering. Up to 50% of people who fail these big exams, they don't fail because they didn't study enough. Nope. They fail because of anxiety and just a total lack of confidence when they're actually sitting there for the test. So, that really is the big question, isn't it? How do you make sure you're in the other 50%, the one that passes? If just knowing the material isn't the whole story, what's that missing ingredient that lets you walk in there and actually perform at your best? Well, the answer is all about preparing smarter, not just harder. And that brings us to the power of simulation. It's about bridging that gap between what you know in your head and how you actually apply it when the pressure is on. You've probably heard this a million times, but it's so true. The best way to learn is by doing. Think about it. You wouldn't just read about running a marathon and then show up on race day, right? Of course not. You'd practice. It's the exact same idea here. And that gets to the real heart of it. It's not just about what you know. It's about performing under pressure. Getting familiar with how the test feels, the format, the timing, the way the questions are worded, that's just as important as memorizing all the facts. And that is exactly where something like an exam simulator becomes a total game changer. It's designed to give you that real-world experience, so the actual exam just feels like another practice session. Let me show you what I mean. Okay, so you fire up the simulator and boom, here's what you see. A classic multiple-choice question. Right away, you're not just trying to find the right answer, you're training your brain to see this format and not panic, to just process it and get to work. And then you're on to the next one. And the one after that. See, with every single question, you're building a rhythm. You start to get a feel for the pacing. You learn when it's time to just move on from a question that's stumping you. It's like building muscle memory, but for taking a test. And that right there is the magic of it. By the time you've gone through hundreds of these, the format isn't scary anymore. It's familiar. And when that happens, that test day anxiety just starts to melt away. But look, everyone's different, right? A good study plan isn't one size fits all. That's why a great simulator lets you customize your practice so you can really zero in on what you need to work on. So you basically get two awesome modes. You've got exam mode, which is like the final dress rehearsal. It's the real deal. Same timing, same structure. Then you have practice mode, and that's where you get to be the boss. You design the test to hit your own weak spots. And inside that practice mode, you're totally in the driver's seat. Struggling with one topic? Fine, you can make a test with only those questions. Only have 20 minutes? No problem, just set the duration and how many questions you want. It makes your study time super focused and incredibly efficient. Of course, we all know life is busy. You can't always be chained to a desk to study. And that's where the mobile app comes in. It's a huge advantage. Think about it. With a mobile app, you can knock out a few practice questions on your commute, on your lunch break, whenever you have a spare moment. And get this, it even works offline. Plus, everything you do automatically syncs up with the web version, so you never lose your progress. Okay, so let's tie this all together. What does this all mean for you? Well, this whole approach is really about changing your entire prep journey, moving you from feeling that awful anxiety to feeling truly confident. When you practice like it's the real thing, when you target your weaknesses, and when you can study whenever you want, you just naturally start to feel less anxious. And as the anxiety goes down, your confidence goes way up. That combo, that's what gives you a much, much better chance of passing. So if you're ready to stop stressing and start preparing the smart way, you can try this exact approach for yourself. To get access to the kind of powerful online simulator and mobile app we've been talking about, just head over to certification-exam.com. It's time to take control and pass that test.